Welcome back, everyone. I'm John Vorel, your St. Louis area real estate agent, and today I'm telling you everything you need to know before moving to St. Louis, including how to mispronounce some words on purpose, and why you need to know the difference between St. Louis City and St. Louis County. If you stick with me to the end, I'll tell you how to get access to my free neighborhood guide so you can figure out which community might be best for you. And we're getting into it right now. St. Louis Bread Company was purchased by a company called A Bon Pain, which later sold off its parent company to focus exclusively on St. Louis Bread Company, at which time they renamed it Panera. So if ever you're talking to a St. Louisan about Panera, make sure to call it by its right name, the St. Louis Bread Company. So in St. Louis, people ask each other all the time which high school they went to. It's kind of a divisive question. It helps people figure out what part of town other people grew up in and whether their family might be well off or not, or if they went to a private school or a Catholic school or a religious school. It's a way of kind of putting people in a box. But St. Louis is kind of a big, small city, so asking people which high school they went to is also a way to sort of start finding connections. You know, who do I know that you might know, so we can find some common ground as we get to know one another. So it's not always a divisive question. Sometimes it's just people being friendly. If you didn't grow up in St. Louis, just tell people that and they'll move on to the next topic of conversation. No big deal. I make a ton of videos about what it's like to live in St. Louis. So if you are moving here or buying or selling a home here in the near future, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you can be notified the next time a video comes out. Okay, the next one I'm sharing with you is a bit of an urban legend. It's a chicken or the egg situation. St. Louis is the home of Anheuser-Busch Brewery, you know, the people who make Bud Light, and has been since I think the late 1800s. We don't really know, at least I don't really know, if we have good water because Anheuser-Busch was here, or if Anheuser-Busch is here because we have great water. Last time I checked, the tap water in St. Louis was one of the top 10 in the country, so we have great drinking water. If you're coming to St. Louis and you like beer, we have a ton of amazing breweries. If you want to know which breweries I recommend, just drop me a note in the comments. Alright, now I need to teach you how to say a couple of words wrong on purpose. What? St. Louis's early settlers were mostly French. They were part of the fur trade, and as a result of that, a lot of the things around St. Louis have French names, but we don't say them with a French accent, we say them with a very Americanized pronunciation, and I'm going to teach those to you right now. The first two are street names. This street is pronounced Gravois, and this one is pronounced Choteau. Next up is a beautiful park that we call Carondelet Park. And finally, there is a neighborhood near the downtown area that has a lot of bars in it, and it's called Soulard. The French don't say the D on the end. Fun fact, Soulard actually means drunkard. So if you're looking for a good time and you like to drink, Soulard is probably the place to go. But who cares? Just say the names however you want to say the names. St. Louisans will correct you, believe me. Something else to know about St. Louis is we have huge deposits of clay earth, which made it possible to manufacture bricks on site. As a result, St. Louis City is built almost entirely of brick homes. Buying a brick home comes with many different considerations than buying one that was built in the 50s with a poured concrete foundation or buying a siding home. It can be easier to spot structural damage and movement in brick homes. There's a lot to know about buying one. So if you're buying a home in St. Louis City, please work with the real estate agent that you know has the expertise to represent you in the purchase of an historic home to make sure that you don't inherit someone else's problems. Okay, let's talk about the Great Divorce, better known as the Great Divorce of 1876. At that time, St. Louis City took issue with the ongoing expansion of St. Louis County and decided to take a vote on separating the city and county. Ultimately, that was successful, but we are still dealing with some of the consequences of that decision today. So St. Louis City is its own municipality, separate and apart from St. Louis County. St. Louis City has its own school district, local government, mayor, police department, fire department. Once you move into St. Louis County, it's divided into municipalities. So for example, Brentwood, Clayton, Ladue, University City are some of the ones you may have heard of. Those are all individual municipalities that are within St. Louis County, not St. Louis City. But to make things more complicated, most of those municipalities also have their own local government, school district, fire department, and police department. So the first decision to make when moving to St. Louis is, are you going to live in St. Louis City or St. Louis County? If schools are an important part of your decision, I encourage you to do a lot of research up front. That might make your decision very easy. There are a lot of nuances that come into play as you're deciding whether to live in St. Louis City or St. Louis County. If you're not sure what those are or would like to discuss them further, give me a call, send me an email. I'd be happy to have that discussion with you. One to be aware of is that in St. Louis City, all residents pay an additional 1% income tax. I live in St. Louis City myself, and I'm happy to pay the 1% income tax in order to have the benefits of living in the city. You know, the close proximity to amazing parks and restaurants and tons of recreation, free things like the St. Louis Zoo and St. Louis Art Museum, Missouri Botanical Garden. They're not free every day, but they have free days for people who live in the city. So there are some perks to living in the city and paying that 1% that you don't get when you live in the county. Next up, crime. All right, so I'm a real estate agent, and we're sort of ethically prohibited from talking about crime, so I can't say much about it. You hear all this hype, it's hype, that St. Louis City is the most dangerous city in America, the murder capital of the world. That's not really what's going on. What's going on is that St. Louis County is much bigger than St. Louis City. So remember, we learned earlier, St. Louis City and St. Louis County are two separate municipalities. Most of the St. Louis metro area's population is in St. Louis County. The crime stats that are most often reported are just for St. Louis City, which means they don't include all the population in St. Louis County, which is what helps balance out the crime statistics. That's how crime is measured in most major metro areas. St. Louis is not the most dangerous city in America. St. Louis is not scary. It's a lovely place. I love living here. So I have to encourage you to do your own research about crime before deciding which neighborhood to live in. One thing I did when I bought my house was I knew that I needed to be able to walk my dog if, say, for example, I was out having dinner and got home a little bit late in the evening, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I needed to feel comfortable taking the dog for a walk around the block. So one thing I did is drive to neighborhoods I was considering buying a house in and just park my car late in the evening and see if I felt comfortable living there. And I think that's a great litmus test for anyone who's not familiar with the St. Louis area as they're figuring out which neighborhood might be right for them. Next up is a thing called the Central Corridor. It's a highway commonly called Highway 40 or I-6440 that runs east to west from downtown all the way out through St. Louis County and is sort of the central thoroughfare from downtown out to the suburbs. People who want to be centrally located, and often people who are concerned with school districts, focus their search along the Central Corridor. It also makes it very convenient to get from one neighborhood to another. If you're going out for dinner or meeting friends, or you're going to the city to see a show, living along Highway 40 or in the Central Corridor is just very convenient. The next thing you need to know is St. Louis is a sports town. We love our baseball team, the St. Louis Cardinals. I personally am not a huge baseball fan, but if I didn't mention the St. Louis Cardinals in a video about St. Louis, I would get beat up in the comments about it. If you're in St. Louis and you're not a baseball fan, just tell people you are. If you're moving to St. Louis, you need to know about Forest Park. It is a huge, beautiful park with a ton of amenities in it. It is not uncommon for people to focus their home search within a certain radius of Forest Park because having access to it is so important to them. Forest Park is where you find the Muni, an outdoor summer theater, the St. Louis Zoo, the St. Louis Art Museum, there's a golf course, tennis courts, running paths, there's a boathouse with a restaurant, there's often a band there in the summertime. Living near Forest Park is a lifestyle choice for most people. If you enjoy being outside and you enjoy access to cultural institutions, you'll probably spend a lot of time there anyway. Next up, I'm going to share 3 food items with you that I'm pretty sure are native to St. Louis. The first one is toasted ravioli. So think of a regular ravioli with beef on the inside, but instead of putting pasta sauce on it, drop it in the deep fryer. So it's kind of a garlicky, breaded, delicious situation that you dip in marinara sauce. If you've never had one, you've got to try it. Next is gooey butter cake. Gooey butter cake is addictive. Gooey butter cake is a really dense, creamy, delicious, rich cake. It's made with butter and cream cheese and confectioner's sugar. It's delicious. Last but not least, for food is the famous pork steak. I think the backstory is people were looking for sort of a cheap cut of meat that everybody could afford to buy and cook, and the pork steak was born. Pork steaks are made by cutting a pork shoulder into half-inch sections that create these little steaks. When my family cooks them, we grill them and put them in a pot of barbecue sauce and then slow braise them for a few hours, and the end product is this really tender pork steak. Sounds surprising, I know that you would make steak out of pork, but it is incredible. Another thing to know about moving to St. Louis is that St. Louis is kind of a compact place. No matter where you live in the St. Louis area, you're not going to be any further than 20 minutes from downtown or the airport or the city or the county or a shopping mall or what have you. So I think when people are looking at moving here and they see St. Louis City on a map and start to sort of branch out from there to decide how far away they can live, people seem to get the sense that they're going far away very quickly as they move away from the city, and that's really not the case. as long as you're east of Highway 270, you're very well located in terms of convenience and being able to get places quickly. Also, on that note, traffic is not really a big deal in St. Louis. There are some highways that are backed up during rush hour, but I've lived in Chicago and I would sit in rush hour for an hour and a half. It is not like that in St. Louis. Traffic is very, very manageable. Okay, as promised, here's how you can get my free neighborhood guide, which contains a short description and some fun tips about some of the most popular neighborhoods and communities in the St. Louis area, both St. Louis City and St. Louis County. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments below, I have linked to a free download on my website. Head on over to the website, download the guide, and reach out to me if you have any questions. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. I so appreciate your time and attention. I hope you found the video valuable. If you are moving to St. Louis and looking for information about what it's like to live here or things you need to know about moving here, check out this playlist. If you are wanting to know what's happening with the St. Louis real estate market right now, check out this playlist. And before you leave, don't forget to subscribe.